Hello there. The question is, why do we read a comprehension? Why do we read a passage? Why do we read an extract? Well, the purpose varies from country to country, from culture. It varies. Each and every society has a subjective point of view as to why comprehensions are read. Nonetheless, we've got some few reasons as to why people read comprehension or an extract or passage in a story or in a fictional or non-fictional story. Now, as an English teacher, to my very limited understanding, we read a passage or comprehension or an extract to entertain ourselves, to be informed, to learn grammatical structure, to learn vocabulary, to learn language structure, to be able to write our own story, to have a formative way of narrating our own personal stories, learning from how the narratives we've read have been structured, and to learn proper pronunciations and familiarize ourselves with new words. Now, this, to my limited knowledge as an English teacher for 18 years, these are most definitely some of the proportionate reasons as to why people read comprehensions or extracts. Now, as the differences might vary, there's of course most certainly some of the reasons why people do read a comprehension. And when you're reading a comprehension, there should be a purpose as to why you read it, as a student or as someone who learns English language. Now, to those of you who are actually trying to learn communication, it is of utmost importance that you imbibe the habit or the culture or the spirit or the courage of reading a comprehension passage, because it does actually teach you how to communicate and how to respond to questions and statements, because you've actually learned some of the numerous responses to questions in some of the passages you have read earlier in your life. If you, however, have imbibed the spirit or the culture of reading a passage. And for those who are students, one of the habits that one should imbibe in order to improve one's English, should the English language not be the first language of your country, now one of the things is you have to read patiently. You have to read the words one after the other and understand the context of the language, because parts of speech matter when you're reading a comprehension. Exclamations have to be emphasized should they appear in any comprehension whatsoever. But most of the time, students find it very difficult to understand the concept in a comprehension and applying the necessary rules and policies required when reading a comprehension. Now, I'm going to go deeper into how to read a comprehension properly, but for now, the reason why we read a comprehension is to be informed, is to learn new words, is to improve our grammatical structure, is to be informed, and is to learn pronunciations and grammatical structure and how to actually write our own ways. Because when you're writing a letter or you're responding to a question or you're responding to a statement, there should be a familiarity of knowledge that you've acquired and you apply them accordingly. Thank you for listening. Wait for the second video where we explain explicitly on how to actually read a comprehension. Believe me, lots of countries in the world believe they know how to read a comprehension, but I assure you, they don't.